After watching this video, you will understand where does acid reflux come from and what is the most important part to address when combating it. Acid reflux, the horrible feeling of pain and heartburn, especially after meals, that makes you unable to focus on other things. You feel like nothing is really important in your life until you get rid of this pain and discomfort. You can't fall asleep at night, no matter what you do. You avoid eating, but that doesn't always help as well. When you do fall asleep, though, you wake up in the middle of the night feeling burning pain. Do you know that feeling from your own experience? Well, if you do, stick with me to find out what is the most likely root cause of all of this. Bear in mind, there is hope. So let's dive into it. We need to understand where does acid reflux usually come from. Your stomach produces highly acidic juice to digest food. The stomach has a thick protective mucus lining, but the esophagus doesn't. A ring of muscles called a lower esophageal sphincter normally keeps the stomach contents from the esophagus. When that sphincter relaxes, or when stomach pressure increases, the acid refluxes upward and burns the esophageal tissue. That's heartburn acutely. Chronic reflux is called GERD. Here's what most people miss. GERD isn't really primarily acid problem. It's usually, among other factors, an insulin resistance problem. You guessed it. Two mechanisms can be identified. First, visceral obesity. Fat accumulated around organs and your belly physically compresses the stomach. That increases the intra-abdominal pressure and relaxes the sphincter. But here's the important part. Insulin resistance independently increases the risk of GERD by around 15%, even accounting for visceral fat, blood pressure, and other factors. So the metabolic dysfunction itself is driving acid reflux, it's driving GERD. Insulin also alters how much acid does your stomach produce, and it affects the vagus nerve that controls stomach contractions. One study gave people an insulin infusion to create artificial hyperinsulinemia, the kind that comes with insulin resistance. And their food moved through their intestines 40% slower. Over time, chronic acid exposure changes the esophageal lining. It becomes tougher, more like intestinal tissue. That's called Barrett's esophagus, and it's a precursor of esophageal cancer. Your cancer risk jumps roughly 30 times higher once Barrett's develops. So what is the solution? First of all, you address the root cause, which is usually insulin resistance. Control carbohydrate intake and thus improve insulin sensitivity. The reflux typically resolves as the metabolic dysfunction reverses. And what if your pancreas is overwhelmed from chronic hyperinsulinemia? And how does it influence GERD? That's what happened to me, so I came all the way to fix it. Your pancreas does two jobs simultaneously. It produces insulin from beta cells and releases it directly into the blood. But it also produces digestive enzymes, amylase, lipase and proteases. They go into the pancreatic duct and travel to the small intestine to break down food. Here's where it gets mechanistically tight. That duct flows into one direction. Pressure is crucial. When the pancreas is constantly overwhelmed by hyperinsulinemia, it's basically working overtime and it gets tired. The tissue swells as the inflammation increases. The duct can become obstructed or partially blocked, which slows the enzyme flow and backs up pressure. But why does it matter for GERD? When pancreatic enzymes don't reach the small intestine efficiently, digestion slows. The food sits in the stomach for longer, increasing the pressure inside of it. Remember what we said about the intra-abdominal pressure? This is another driver of it. Higher pressure pushes the stomach content upward against the lower esophageal sphincter, relaxing it and forcing acid reflux. Additionally, poor enzyme delivery means incomplete digestion, which can create the bacterial dysbiosis in the gut. That dysbiosis produces gas and therefore increases the pressure even more. The deeper problem is that the overwhelmed pancreas is the symptom of insulin resistance itself. Chronically elevated insulin forces the pancreas to work over time harder than it's actually capable of. Over years, beta cells exhaust, and that tissue can accumulate fat, fatty pancreas, which further compromises the duct's function. It's a vicious cascade. So we already spoke about the statistically most important issue regarding the development of acid reflux. What are other factors? It can be more than that, or they can coexist and exacerbate one another. It can be physical damage to the esophagus, for example hiatal hernia, that in most cases requires surgery or at least very careful treatment. It can be problems with your diaphragm, including damage or weakness from other factors. It can also be hormonal issues, especially with elevated estradiol in both men and women. Again, it can be from a variety of different reasons. The main takeaway from this video: please have a good doctor and work with them to find a root cause of your problem and adjust solution. But there are also some things that can be done on your own. In the next video I will share them with you. For now, if you find this video useful, please drop it a like, turn on that notification button and subscribe to my channel to get more of the good stuff. My name is Szymon, thank you very much for watching this video, have a wonderful day and see you in the next one.